Hey, CBS, I hope you take note. This is in no way me trying to insult you. I am not one to insult. So, I want to bring something up. You promote shows like Person of Interest and Elementary, in which the show's message is a bit askew. Person of Interest is about a machine that spits out numbers, basically social security numbers, of those who may be the victim or perpetrator. And it's a good show. I love the show. One of my favorites. But half the time, the message of the show gets complicated that I end up having to do other stuff like this right here, having to go online, having to tweet, or having to Facebook, because Person of Interest loses my interest. Same thing with Elementary. Again, good show, but half the time, after so long, I gotta find something else to keep myself busy while still trying to watch the show and pay attention. CBS, you only have two shows that have really grabbed my attention, that really make me watch. One is The Big Bang Theory. Now, granted, Big Bang Theory, I feel, has strayed from its formula in its first seasons before they added on the characters of Amy and Bernadette. But Amy and Bernadette are characters that were necessary to allow Sheldon to grow, that have allowed Howard to grow as individuals. And on that note, the same thing goes for Hawaii Five-0. Now, of all the shows that I currently watch, Hawaii Five-0 is the only show that I feel that strives to pound home the message of going out of your way for your friends, for your family. And that is a show that should be promoted. Not The Amazing Race, not Survivor, not CSI, maybe NCIS, but a lot of shows that we see on today's television don't exactly promote going out of your way for friends, going out of your way for family. Not even the WWE. The WWE. Now, I can go on about the WWE that's trying to be a family show, and they are. The WWE is trying to be a family show, but after the WWE, if you look at my DVR here, yes, I may have S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over Hawaii Five-0. Keep in mind, grew up a comic book geek, so by default, S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be over Hawaii Five-0. But Hawaii Five-0 is number 2 after S.H.I.E.L.D. And I already said why, but I want more detail why. You got Steve McGarrett, who reminds me a lot of Jack Bauer. When we first meet Steve McGarrett, he's this tough, gritty man who's not afraid to get dirty. But here's what I found. Here's the one thing about Steve I find interesting, is that he's got that one. Not one. He's got 2 girls in his life that allow us to see that Steve, after all, is a human being with emotions. One, of course, being his sister Mary. He's obviously very protective of his sister, and we see that with Daniel too, with his daughter. And that's a show that everyone should be watching. Not shows like C.P. Hall. Don't get me wrong, I love C.P. Hall. Not shows like, or shows like Arrow or Person of Interest. Shows that blatantly promote violence. I'm not saying that's the show's fault, because I would hope that people today are aware of what's right and what's wrong. But back to what I'm trying to get at is, Hawaii Five-0 is the first show in a long time that I have gotten into that is about family, that is about sticking your neck out for your family, or even for just a complete stranger. That's what this show has done. CBS, I'm going to be honest, you have not been promoting this show like you should. Hawaii Five-0 should be your number 1 show, not NCIS. Because when I watch NCIS, it's got a little bit of family element to it, but again, it just promotes violence. Same thing with NCIS LA. Not that there's nothing wrong with it, because again, I would hope that people have the wherewithal to understand what's right and what's wrong, but you got a show in Hawaii Five-0 that has a positive message every week. That regardless of the case, Dano's got his little girl that he goes home to. That's his #1 priority. It's the same thing with Steve. When Steve's done with the day, he's got Catherine that he goes home to. The one person that he will go out of his way for. So you got Steve who goes out of his way for Catherine. You got Dano who goes out of his way for his little girl. And of course you got Chin-Ho and Kono. You got Chin-Ho and Kono who obviously have more of a brother-sister relationship in with other cousins. Same thing with Kami Kono. Kami Kono, the actor who plays him, oh my gosh, he's a big teddy bear. I would love to meet him. That's what we need to, that's what we need to be getting across in today's society, in today's world, that we need to be able to come together, and Hawaii Five-0 has that message day in, day out, week after week, that it should always be about family. And it's a shame, CBS, you're not promoting that. That's a show that should be #1. That's a show that everyone should be watching. A show that pounds home the fact that the one thing you should always be making a priority is your friends, is your family, or, like I said in one of my previous videos, your ohana. That's what this show has become to me, and I made that known in my previous video. That's what this show has become to me. It's what all these fans I have now connected with. And that includes some of your cast and crew. I know Peter doesn't follow me, but I consider Peter family. I consider Justin Fisher family. I consider the stuntman, Mr. Stuntman himself, Jeff. To me, he's family. Michelle Borth, she's family. Everyone on this show, you name it. I made it known in my previous video. I'm saying it again. This show is the one show that reminds me it will always be about family. It will always be about your friends. And the fact that this show is not promoted properly, I'm going to promote it right now. To everyone out there, I don't care if you got a problem with Michelle Borth. I don't care if you got a problem with Peter. Look past that and realize this show, to its heart, is about family. That's a show we need to be watching. It's a show we need to be supporting. It's a show that we need more of, and not over-the-top violence. And I'm sorry I'm saying this, that S.H.I.E.L.D. promotes. Not over-the-top violence that we see on Person of Interest. You want a show worth watching? Hawaii Five-0 is that show, and we need to come together as a family. The show, not on the show CBS. We love this show. We want this show on for a 5th year, for a 6th year, for a 7th year, 8th year, 9th year. I think you get my point. I find it interesting that a show like 24, which definitely over-promoted violence. No offense, Peter, because I know you worked on this show. I find it amazing a show like 24 that promoted violence and terrorism lasted for 8 years. And now Hawaii Five-0 in the 4th season is showing signs of possibly struggling. We need more shows like Hawaii Five-0 about family and shows like 24. We need more shows about family. Because to me, that's the one thing I care about. I love this show. Let's prove to CBS that this is the best show they got.